Hey guys, Audrey here with Flawless Crested Geckos. And this video today is going to be talking about, or we are going to be talking about, some of the things that you need to successfully vend at a reptile show or trade show. I figured that we'd go ahead and put a video out like this because guess what's happening next weekend? You guessed it. And if you didn't, I'm going to tell you anyway. But Tinley Park, NARBC Tinley Park, which is quite possibly one of the biggest shows on the planet for reptile breeders and enthusiasts alike, right? So we figured might as well put out a video helping you guys on what to bring to a show if you plan on successfully vending a show. I know there are a lot of people out there that, you know, go to shows and they see the difference in breeders who genuinely take pride in their appearance and genuinely want to do a very good job as far as presenting themselves appropriately as a business at shows. In fact, anytime that you do have a show that you're going to go and present yourself at, you want to make the very best impression possible. You want to show those customers, those people that are attending the show, especially those that aren't in the industry and just saw it on a flyer or whatever and said, oh, that'll be cool, maybe I'll take my kids. Or maybe they just want to come and see the different animals and learn a little bit more about them. This needs to be the point of contact that is, you know, the game changer for those people. So we figured, hey, let's put out this video, give you some of our recommendations that will help you guys know what you need to bring to vend a show successfully. So here we go. So number one is a booth. You need a booth, and within said booth you need structures to be able to put together for presentation. So you're going to want to have a structure, right? Normally at shows, they do give you, obviously, when you pay your fee, because it is a fee, depending on what show it is, it'll be a certain amount of fee for either tables or for your booth. And then once inside your booth, you can pretty much do whatever you want as far as how you're going to present your things or how you're going to display your animals or whatever products and services that you are actually presenting for sale, right? For us, we don't bring any extra tables per se. We always have our one table as far as the booth is concerned, and then if we choose to do an extra table, then we'll pay for that extra table. For Tinley specifically, because it's such a well-known and huge, absolutely huge show, it is filled up. Like, there are no spaces. If you choose to want to vend Tinley, you want to put your name on a waiting list because it's going to be 5 to probably 10 years before you actually get a spot. Because once you're in Tinley, nobody wants to give that up because it's legitimately one of the largest stages on the reptile or in the scene of reptiles in general. So that's where, you know, people go who are largely into the reptile world, and they want certain things. They're going after things. They're ready to invest in high quality animals for their businesses, for their breeding programs, you know, and that's really where the magic happens. So that is one of the best shows obviously on the planet. So it's very hard to get in. So at that particular show, we have one booth, which comes with one table, right? So typically we ask for a second table, and that creates the main structure of our booth. So 2 tables is about all you can really handle in one. It's supposed to be like a 10 by 10 little section. I feel like it's a little bit smaller because we had our sign actually, which I'll get to. You're going to want to get good signage, but our sign is actually 10 feet wide, and it definitely overhangs into other booths, so we have to work around that when we do set it up. But moving on, signage. I mentioned that our sign was quite large. The most important thing that you need to know about signage is that it needs to be big. It needs to be tall, okay? So if you, I mean obnoxiously big and tall, but if you go in and you throw a very small banner, that's down to the ground, chances are with all the vendors in the room, you're not going to get seen. So it's important to really put yourself out there up high so that when people are walking around and there's so many people back to back and you're in the aisles and you're like squished up and you're just trying to pay attention to where you're walking, if you look up, you're able to see all these different banners and signs. And if you don't have it high enough and large enough, people just legitimately don't know you're there. So signage is really, really, really important as far as your booth structure and setup. Another thing that is crucial when we're talking about reptile shows as far as your setup is concerned is lighting. You must have good lighting. Lighting is one of those things that show off the actual, value of your animal. A lot of animals, like for us with Crested Geckos, a lot of animals definitely need lighting to show their different colors, their morphs. It helps them fire up some, like if they get up under that light and you give them a little hydration in their display boxes, they throw that light on there and then they show their beautiful true colors, right? But it's also important so that your customers can actually see the animals that you're displaying. So invest in high quality lighting. It's really, really important. And we actually purchased our lighting off of Amazon, and I will put that link in the description. The last time I checked the link, they have different colors of the actual hardware that is the lighting. We have black ones, and I believe right now they have the white ones, or at least the last time I checked, the black ones were out of stock. But I'm sure at some point in time they'll probably put those back in stock. But I will put that link down there if you're interested in the lighting that we have, which we love our lighting. We have talked about upgrading in different ways, but right now that lighting is really, really good. And there are a lot of people that utilize the same lighting that we do. So very important. So as it pertains to structure in your booth setup, three of the really most important things in that is your actual structures, meaning your tables, what you're actually putting your displays on, your signage, and then your lighting. Also, in addition to structures and lighting and signage, is your display cases. You're going to need definitely some display cases or a way to display your animals. Now for us, we did invest in actual display acrylic and glass display cases. Now that being said, they are kind of pricey. So if you aren't wanting to invest that much into your display cases, deli cups will do. But remember to always make sure when you order your deli cups to order the clear ones. There's no point in ordering deli cups that are like they're sort of almost an opaque color. You can see inside them, but you really can't see details inside them. So it's very important that you make sure and get the deli cups that are completely clear. They're almost glass clear. That way your animals can be shown off the best that they possibly can be. Number two, one of the things that you need the most when you're vending a reptile show is your marketing materials. Do you have business cards, or do you have some signage up that has like a QR code, or your information as far as like, do you have a link tree where people can actually go if you're a presence online and you don't just vend shows, but you have this presence online? Is there something there very large that you can give out or that you can direct your customers to that will give them all the information about you, about your business, show them where they can go purchase animals or purchase whatever you might sell. Say you sell food or other products and services that have to do with the reptile field. Like, where is that on your table or in your booth where people can actually see? For us, we actually do, when we go to shows and we are able to put up two large signs, like for instance when we were in Daytona, at that show, we had a booth big enough. We had an end cap, which is like 4 tables, but our booth was big enough to where we could put up two of our large signs. And on one side of one of the signs, we actually had our QR code attached to our sign. So it was huge, and people could stand way back, even if they weren't at the table, and actually get a shot of that QR code, and it would take you directly to our link tree to where you can see all of our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok, our Morph Market, our website that we sell animals from, all of those things, our YouTube. It put everything there so that even if they couldn't get to the table, or even if they were like, okay, we're going to come back, and they forget, they still have the information afterwards. That is going to be your follow-up. That is really important. That's your marketing. That's part of your brand. So make sure that you bring some kind of marketing materials that will help you put your brand out there and be customized to the point where it reminds people of who you are. Also, in addition to any types of brochures, flyers, business cards, that kind of thing, you want to bring with you some things that you might be able to give away, right? So there are tons of companies out there that you can order bracelets, silicone bracelets from, keychains, air fresheners, pins, stickers galore. And you can sell these. You can also sell these for some small return, just to kind of help you pay for them. But also, in addition to that, you can take a lot of that and give away, right? So bring some extras. We always like to give stickers to the kids that come up to our booth, and that way that gets an interaction with children. It opens up the door to be able to introduce reptiles to children and further for the next generation, because our kids are the ones that are going to take this industry and build on it and make it greater, right? So it's very important that you're able to engage with people in a different way. Plus, it shows your willingness to want to give to the community rather than just take. So make sure you're always bringing some promotional items with your information on them. That, again, is all about branding. Branding when it comes to marketing in general. When you're coming to a show, you want to make sure that all of those things are there for you to utilize at your disposal for those people to really remember who you are, and to have something to kind of look back on and say, oh yeah, this was the coolest thing. I got this from Flawless at such and such a show. And we may ought to check into them at a future time and see if they're coming back, or see if they'll ship, or whatever it may be. But it really does leave a lasting impression on your people, on your customer base, and helps you continue to build your brand and build it to the point where nobody has to question who it is when they see your name. You want to make sure that you're constantly putting yourself out there with your marketing materials, and the show is a great way to get that out there, actually physically into the hands of your customer base by using those promotional items. Alright, so another thing that is really important as it pertains to vending shows is, how are you going to take payment? There are a lot of people, and a lot of it is like an old school train of thought where, or for instance, a train of thought where you don't want your income to be recorded and all that kind of stuff. To us, recording your income is part of being a business. In order to do business on a large scale, you have to be able to provide a way for people to pay outside of cash. Cash is great, cash is king, and we love cash, but it's very important to bring along with you some way or some form of taking card payment or taking online payment in some way. So if you don't have PayPal, which again, we don't care for PayPal, we actually have a video that highlights our problems with PayPal. If you look down in the list of all our videos, there is something that highlights our issues with PayPal, but we have tried to kind of get away from PayPal and use some other forms of payment. But if you don't have PayPal or Venmo or a Cash App or Zelle or Square or something that allows you to have sort of a point of sale right there at your fingertips at a show, then you're really missing out, because there's a lot of people that do not carry cash anymore. If you go in saying, I only accept cash, chances are you're not going to make that sale, because there's so many other vendors around that will absolutely take any form of payment. And that's what we've always said. We will take pretty much any form of payment as long as we have an internet connection, which has been difficult at times in certain venues. So you want to make sure that you have a way of being able to take payment outside of just cash. It's very important. And you want to make sure that you're recording your sales. Nothing worse than going to a show and not recording your sales, and then getting home and realizing you don't remember how many animals you took, and you don't know which ones were actually sold, or which ones were given away in a giveaway, or which ones were in a mystery box, or whatever it may be. Make sure you have something that you can record everything that you sell and all the animals that you bring your inventory, or all the products and such that you bring with you. Like food, for instance. There's a lot of vendors that sell food, or they sell structures that go in enclosures, or they might sell enclosures themselves. So it's very important that you have something that you either write down or you record in whatever technology platform you utilize, as far as like if you bring an iPad with you or a computer with you, or whatever point of sale that you have. It's very important to be able to record everything that you sell, that you have, and then you sell or not sell. So something to pay with, or something to take payments with, that is outside of cash. And then obviously something that you can utilize to record down all your sales, because you're also going to need to make sure that you're paying your sales tax and stuff like that within, as far as if you're in another state. Alright, so this next one that is really extremely important to bring with you to vend any type of show and be successful, is not necessarily something that is tangible. It's your smile. You need to be knowledgeable, you need to be friendly, you need to be talkative, and you need not be sitting down behind your booth, not standing up, not engaging with your customers when they come to your booth. I've seen it time and time and time again, and it craps on my nerves. If you are at a show and you come and you vend, and you sit behind your booth the entire time, and you hardly look up when somebody comes to actually view your animals, and then you go and you're negative about how that show went, you have no one to blame but yourself. You need to work on yourself. You need to work on your customer service skills. You need to be greeting every customer that comes to your booth regardless. You need to be paying attention to what it is that the questions that they're asking. You need to be friendly, honestly. You need to be knowledgeable, and you need to make sure that you know exactly what you're talking about as it pertains to whatever you're selling. This field is full of people who have a lot of opinions, and you need to be the foremost authority on whatever it is that you're selling. So educate yourself before you go. You need to be trained in what you're doing. Your professional appearance is very important also. Remind yourself that you're not just representing you're representing your brand as a whole. So if you don't have something like, for instance, we have our jerseys that we wear. We typically are decked out in flawless gear head to toe, right? If your professional appearance is not appropriate for what you're doing, you need to really look in the mirror and figure that out. People want to see that whatever you're presenting yourself with aligns with the professional portion of your business. You need to be eating, breathing, bleeding your brand. You're your best billboard. Your knowledge, your smile, your professionalism. Alright, so the final thing that you need to be extremely successful when you vend a show is healthy animals. Okay guys, I have seen it time and again where people are posting up pictures of animals that are piled on top of each other in a small deli cup, or they're sickly, or they clearly have something wrong with them, use your brain, okay? If you're not taking care of your animals at home, it is going to be very visible when you put them on display at a show, okay? So if you're not taking care of your animals at home, you probably should get rid of them completely and get out, because that's not appropriate, okay? But that being said, don't come to a show and display animals that are sick. Come on now. Like, you gotta be, loose a few brain cells to really think that it's appropriate to stick sick animals on a table. Just don't do it. So that is probably the number one, well, it is the number one most important thing as it pertains to vending a show successfully, is bring healthy, clean animals that show off the quality and the home in which you keep them in. It's very, very important that we as a community come together and make sure that we're policing ourselves within the community. And if somebody is bringing horribly sick animals to a show, they need to be canceled. And I hate doing the whole cancel culture thing, but if they are consistently bringing sick animals to the show and it's clear that they do not care about the welfare of the animals, they need to be axed. I'm sorry. I'm just not dealing with it. It just doesn't need to be tolerated in this community, because what happens is then when you have that situation, not only are those animals suffering, but our community as a whole suffers, because then our lawmakers up in the government think that they know better than us about how to take care of animals because of these few bad apples. And now here come restrictions. Now here come new laws. Now here comes the things that cause us to not be able to do this as a community. So that being said, that kind of rounds up everything for this particular video. I'm going to probably go over some of the smaller things that you may forget in our next video. Since we are about a week and a half out from leaving for Tinley, these next few videos are going to be in information regarding shows and kind of the things that you need to know and that you need to bring with you. But these are some of the, top things that I can think about as far as coming to a show that you need to make sure you have. And just to kind of reiterate, go back over it. Number one, your structures, your booth setup. Okay, that included your lighting, your signage, your displays, those types of things. Your marketing materials, you want to make sure you have all of your information as far as who you are, where to get your information from outside of the shows, any type of brochures or flyers or things like that, any type of things that need to go on your signage, like your QR codes and such, that will help you continue to build your marketing and your brand outside of the show, but from the show. And then your promotional giveaways and things like that. Then we talked about your point of sales. You need to make sure you have a point of sale or some way to take credit card payments or online payments. And obviously you need to have something to write down exactly what you sold. So it's very important to have a good inventorying system. Then also we talked about your professional appearance and your smile and being knowledgeable about what it is that you have and what you're selling and how to dress. Just keep in mind that you want to make sure that you're giving the very best that you possibly can. And then lastly, of course, and most importantly, bring in healthy animals, and bring in animals that that really show off the quality of what you have and how you keep it home. Making sure everything's clean and put together, and making sure that these animals are well taken care of while you're there. So that's it. That's all I have for you. Hopefully this helped you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.